This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
Okay, so same deal. Still not doing any spoilers for The Lost Metal, the book. Obviously, it's not out yet. Not going to even mess with any of that. But this is my reaction to part 2. So general reactions. I'm not going to talk about any plot points. Maybe talk about like what I liked about some of the characters, etc. So if you don't want any of that, maybe don't listen. But if you just want to kind of know what to expect, then tune in. So part 2 is not very long. The entire second half of the book is part 3. And there's only 3 parts. So part 1 is probably about 30%. Part 2 is probably about 20%. And then part 3, the last 50%. Part 2 is kind of moving characters from one location to another, like getting ready for what seems to be like a pretty exciting conclusion. Like, honestly, after getting through all the things we got through in the first 2 parts, I'm expecting all of part 3 to be kind of like a breakneck, nonstop, exciting conclusion to the series. Overall, I'm quite enjoying the book through the first 50%. I think it's the best of the Era 2 by far. None of the other books started remotely nearly as strong as this one. And I think part of it is because of the stronger Cosmere connections. Brandon's getting me to care a lot more about what's happening in this book. So, that always works. Extended universes always just kind of work. If I had to pick out a couple things that I really like about the book so far, I'd say one is the pacing through the first half of the book. The pacing is not too fast, not too slow. It set up a few things that have really kind of tied in nicely throughout, and I'm expecting part 3 to be quite fast, quite a big banger all the way to the end. And then the second thing, surprisingly for me, because I've always bagged on this in Era 2, is the humor. I feel like Brandon has really done a better job with the humor. In the first Era 2 books, the humor was really like, look at me, I'm really funny here, like laugh. And that was a lot of Wayne's humor. But there's a lot of more subtle humor, which I appreciate. Like there are humorous moments that are not specifically called out that you have to kind of, as the reader, appreciate, because maybe Brandon has written about this in a previous chapter and is being brought up again in a funny way, or there's just kind of some sarcasm, and it really appeals more to my sense of humor. I'm not like as into the gregarious Wayne type of humor that was most of Era 2, but even Wayne's humor in this book is a lot better. So props to Brandon, and I hope he continues writing humor in this way, because that's just going to make me like his books even more. One other thought I had about these books as I was kind of reflecting on part 2 was that it really seems like it's almost written to be a movie. I mean, it's not like Brandon is writing this in saying that I need to get rights to create this on the screen, but it does seem like a lot of it really works well for a movie type of setup. There's a lot of set pieces. There's a really cool set piece in Era 2, actually, which includes a fun kind of hero moment. It really seems like it would just pop on screen. And I think that's good and bad for a book, but for these books, I think it's a really good thing. Really, the shame for me with Era 2 is it's taken 4 books to really find its footing. Well, okay, I would say it found its footing for me at the second half of Bands of Mourning, but now through book 4, this is really solid. I really wish all of the books would have been this great. I mean, not that they were bad books, but they were just kind of meh until now. So I'm hoping that part 3 finishes just as strongly, and I'm able to say that the series closed off on a big high note. Until then, see you guys later.